morning. Happy Pride, everybody. Welcome to Second Unitarian Church of Chicago. It's a joy to have you with us this morning. Please rise in body and spirit and join me in singing our opening hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts. Your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. 'Cause today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come
Welcome to Second Unitarian Church. I am Barb Michael, a member of ARM, the Anti-Racism Multicultural Ministries here at 2U. And good morning to all you hearty souls who may have used a different mode of transportation this morning, or parking, or whatever. And a happy Pride. We are a smaller group this morning due to Pride, but we are in person at the Admiral at the Lake, the 2U Sanctuary, and continuing to meet virtually using Zoom. We're glad you are here whichever way you are attending. If you are in the sanctuary and would benefit from hearing assistance, we have devices available as well as noise-canceling headphones for both adults and children with noise sensitivities. Please see our tech team in the back. As we navigate varying needs for health and wellness, particularly related to COVID, we welcome you to wear a mask. We have masks available at the table as you enter the building in the Palmer Room. We especially welcome newcomers and visitors this morning. Finding a new community and making new connections can be challenging. Please know that we're excited to have you and look forward to getting to know you. And if you would like, there are blue mugs available during coffee hour. You can use to signal to others that you would like them to come up and say hello. Not sure what to say? The Drum Allies group has come up with a question each week to help spark conversation. You can find the question posted on the coffee hour table. Additionally, we will always need people in the kitchen after coffee hour and today's 2U lemonade stand out front. And that's a great place to see old friends and make new ones while lending a helping hand. We want to remind everyone that the sounds of children are welcome during our service. Our worship today is led by Reverend Jason Lydon, along with Pip Harris as worship associate. Excuse me. Music is provided by guest artist Ms. Yuka and director of music Carl Kennedy. Our time together requires a large group of people who make possible the worship, the music, and the technical production. You can find many announcements about what is going on at church in your order of service. We encourage you to take it home with you when you exit the sanctuary. As we greet our neighbors this morning, do so with a Pride Weekend celebratory high five. This is the time to take a moment and greet your neighbor.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions, bound not by the specific list of things we believe, but by the values we share, where we keep love at the center. Whether you are joining us for the first time or for the 1000th time, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God some of the time, all of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. Whatever your race, whomever you love, whichever way you move in the world, however much money is in your pocket, you are welcome here. I invite you, when you feel ready, to take a deep breath in and out. And now rise in body and or spirit and join in singing our congregational hymn, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Please remain risen and join me in reciting our covenant. We covenant to build a community that challenges us to grow and empowers us to honor the truth within ourselves. We will be generous with our gifts and honest in our communication, holding faithful to a love that embraces both diversity and conflict. Called by our living tradition, we will nurture spirituality within a vision of the eternal, living out our inner convictions through struggles for justice and acts of compassion. You may be seated.
In just a moment, Zella here in the sanctuary and Harris at the Admiral will light our chalices, the symbol of our faith. The flame we ignite this morning is the same flame that sparked the uprisings at the Stonewall Inn in 1969. It is the same flame that sparked the uprising of transgender women at the Compton cafeteria 3 years earlier. It is the same flame that sparked the resistance of ACT UP activists demanding attention to the countless deaths of gay men from AIDS. It is the same flame that sparks the struggle today against a Supreme Court ruling that demonizes queer and trans people in public schools. It is the same flame that sparks the beautiful queerness, the powerful allyship that lives, within each of you. Feel the power of this flame, the strength of our faith, and remember to burn as bright as you can.
I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh instead of cry. I'm gonna take this town and turn it upside down. I'm gonna live, live, live until I die. I'm gonna say, what a guy. I'm gonna play for the sky. Until my number's up, I'm gonna fill my cup. I'm gonna live, live, live until I die. Those blues I'll lay low, I'm gonna stay low. They'll never trail over my head. I'll be the devil till I'm an angel. But until then, hallelujah, I'm gonna laugh, gonna cry. I'm gonna take for the sky. Until my number's up, I'm gonna fill my cup. I'm gonna live, 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 live until I die. Those blues I'll stay low. I'm gonna lay low. They'll never trail over my head. I'll be the devil till I'm an angel. But until then, hallelujah, I'm gonna laugh, gonna cry. I'll take my chance, riding high. Until my number's up, I'm gonna fill my cup. I'm gonna live, 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 live until I Okay. Can you hear the microphone? Oh, there we go. Anybody want to come up a little closer for our story today? Please feel free to. Okay, today I am representing again this year, thank you so much, Drag Story Hour Chicago. We are one of the official chapters, the only official chapter in Chicago of the National. And we're going to read a perfect book for today called One Day in June. What's that day, do you think? Is it today, Pride? Well, that's a good June date, too. And who this book is about would really appreciate that as well. So here we go. Look out at us here, happy as can be, endless joy as far as the eyes can see. Marcia sure does love this scene. Do you know about Marcia? Close your eyes and picture her, my friend Marcia P. Johnson, radiant, a whirlwind of love. She adored people in all of their many shapes. You see the packages we come in, the way we are exactly ourselves, no more, no less. That's because of Marcia. Look at all those different people. Yeah. Marcia was more than an activist. She was more than a performer or a disco dancer. She loved people just the way they were, and she had a good time doing it. Marcia knew that's how we change the world. Look how big and bold and beautiful. Back in Marcia's day, Times Square was a hustle-bustle place, grit and grime, shimmer and shine. It could be a good time, but it wasn't always. Saint Marcia called Times Square her living room. She took care of her best friends. They found a way to be fabulous and to thrive together. They could laugh at just about anything. Sometimes you had to. Sometimes you just have to laugh to get over some of the not so good stuff. Yes. Marcia knew a joke makes hard times easier. What makes you laugh? Anybody want to share what makes you laugh? Yeah. Funny parts in books, that's good.
My friend Ellie doing her comedy skits.
Ah, that's a good too. Anyone else want to share out there? Okay, that's perfect. We're good. Marcia would give her last dollar to a friend for any reason at all. She knew the small joys in life are what really matter. Marcia knew that to give is to receive. Her friends used to say, the more you share, the less you need. Mom, can I get an ice cream sandwich? Oh, honey, I don't think we have enough money today. Well, here, take tips from last night. Go and get some ice cream. Marcia was a disco girl. She could sparkle with the best of them, and she had a gift for making friends. Like a honeybee dancing from flower to flower, Marcia glittered, spreading joy and happiness to the people around her. Her smile and her laugh were sweet as nectar. Do you know anyone that has a great laugh? Yeah. Do you have a great laugh, or you know someone? You do. Oh, that's good. There we go. Marcia would go to Raoul's restaurant every day. Someone always made sure she had enough to eat. Then she would boogie on the tabletops. Marcia knew happiness is like fuel. Did you get enough to eat? We're going to need that energy for the rally. When we can find our joy, we can show up for others. Where are we going again? It feels good to show up for people when they need us. The march of Black trans lives. Marcia knew that sometimes we need to take change into our own hands. Have you ever been to a march yourself? Yeah? No? You know, the Pride Parade started as a march, and you can go celebrate that a little later today. In the flower district, Marcia would gather fallen blooms and weave them together. You never saw her without a flower crown. Sometimes she'd buy a $5 bouquet, tear it apart, and put the flowers in her hair. That was a lot of money for Marcia, but to her, it was worth it. In her crown, Marcia transformed from plain old caterpillar into a dazzling butterfly. Some people didn't understand Marcia's beauty, but she paid them no mind. She loved the way she looked. Marcia knew that dressing how we please is a radical act. The world would just have to get used to it. Marcia was royalty, and all the village was her court. We used to call her the Queen of Christopher Street. People were always caught up in her glow, admiring her, snapping her picture. Like a blossom in the sun, Marcia basked in the attention. She knew that when you feel good, you can make others feel good. To Marcia, all the world was a stage. Marcia's message was never been more alive in what we do. If you listen carefully, you can hear her in the flowers and the bees and the butterflies and the voices of people showing up for each other. Look at all those people protesting at the Capitol. I believe in Black trans women, point blank. Look at us out here, happy as can be, celebrating each other in many shapes. That was the best ice cream ever. People may not always understand our beauty. Wow, your hair looks amazing. But we keep showing up exactly how we are. I want to dance. We too know how to create endless joy as far as the eye can see, and that's because of Marcia. Now, before we end, if anyone gets this book, there's a great explanation here But here's some extra tidbit that I think is super important for today. One Day in June is a buoyant fictional picture book inspired by the legacy of a real person, a real Black trans woman, Marsha P. Johnson. Life for Marsha wasn't always shimmer and shine, butterflies and flower crowns. The sad reality is that while she was alive, Marsha was criminalized, harassed, arrested, and even assaulted for who she was. Marsha didn't wait for the world to tell her she could be free and be herself. She told the world she was already free and that they'd better catch up. The legacy of Marsha's life is a gift, a special reminder to all of us to be our most free, authentic, unique, and fabulous selves. The end. Thank you.
You are certainly welcome to hang out here on the chancel. You're welcome anywhere in our church at any time. And you're also welcome to go back to your seats wherever you feel comfortable. And the same is true for all of you. Your bodies are beautiful things that should be where you need them to be. So each year, we, as members of our church, all make a commitment, a pledge to support the ministry of this, our congregation. In addition to this pledge that we make, we take a collection every Sunday so that we can share with those who are doing justice work well beyond our walls. During the music, you will see a number on your screen, and you will also find a number in your order of service to which you can do text to give. And for those of us who are gathered here in the sanctuary, you, in a moment, will see a plate being passed around, and you can put your change, your cash, or your incredibly large checks into that plate. For the month of June, we have been sharing our plate with the Lighthouse Foundation, and you've heard quite a bit about their work the last few weeks. But on the last Sunday of every month, rather than hear from the plate share recipient, we get some words from lay leaders in our congregation welcoming you to join with some of the work that they're engaged in within our church. This morning, we have some words from Karen Goldner. Yeah, clapping a lot, I love it.
Good morning. I'm Karen Goldner. I am a member of ARM, which is the Anti-Racism Multicultural Ministry. We're a committee ministry actually set up by our board a number of years ago. And the purpose of ARM is to look at our internal community, our internal congregation, whereas we have the social justice ministry that is more focused on the outside world. ARM is more focused on the inside and just making sure that we are, in fact, practicing the anti-racist values that we as Unitarian Universalists share. Our group meets once a month, typically on Zoom. For this coming year, Berlinda Brown is going to be our chair, and Tom Clues is going to be our co-chair, and both of them are out of town today, so that's why I'm here. But if you're interested in getting involved, we do things like supporting DRUM, which stands for Diverse Revolutionary UU Multicultural Ministries, which is basically an affinity group for people of color in the Unitarian Universalist denomination. We're the only drum chapter actually in Chicago, and the group meets once a month. There's also a White Allies group that meets once a month to kind of work on ourselves and also to support drum as they need support. And we do just a variety of things like that. So please do join us. If you want more information, grab me during coffee hour or at some point. Barb Michael, who has been a member and is going to be joining again, also can give you some information. So thanks.
Now I invite you to join me in reading our offertory words. The words are printed in your order of service and are on the screen. This church is the community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm it and enable its participation in the larger world around us. The offering will now be generously given and gratefully received.
I want to invite you to join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. And let us begin by breathing together. Notice your breath in your lungs. Notice your belly rising and falling. Rest your body in your chair. Relax the muscles in your neck. Unclench that beautiful jaw of yours. And just rest into this space. We begin always in thanks. Thankful for the breath in our lungs, the beauty of our earth, and the strength of this, our beloved community. We hold in our hearts those who care for family in ill health, those who live with grief or chronic pain, those struggling with addiction or illness, seen and unseen. We are with you. For parents and teachers and all those whose primary spiritual practice is caring for children, we are with you. We pray for our neighbors in prison, for those who are struggling to stay afloat in the midst of poverty, for immigrants and refugees who are fleeing and seeking, finding new homes in our city amongst many. We are with you. Pray for all those living in harm's way. We pray for our planet and commit to work that will lead us away from the harms of climate chaos. As war and genocide continue to rage on, We pray that wisdom, compassion, and empathy guide the leaders of our world. May they and we be instruments of a just and lasting peace. Our lives are truly blessed by those who are encountering the final stages of life. We offer prayers of comfort and care, knowing this journey is far from easy. Into this, our shared silence across space, I invite you to speak aloud the names of anyone you wish to lift up into the loving support of our community. With our deepest compassion, let us hold in our hearts those named and unnamed, those remembered and those forgotten. Let it be so. Amen, and blessed be. During our ritual of lighting candles for joys and concerns, we want to continue to take care of ourselves and one another. Here in the 2U sanctuary, I will invite you forward to light a candle. And as you end your time of contemplation and candle lighting, I invite you to use the hand sanitizer that's available. For those of us at the Admiral, I invite you to come forward, take a pebble from one bowl, hold it tightly in your hands, putting your energy into the stone, and then knowing your joys and concerns to be shared by our community, let it go lightly into the other bowl. And for those of us on Zoom, I invite you to join us by sharing your joys and concerns in our chat window. celebrations, concerns, and sorrows close to our hearts. Pip, would you share our first reading, please?
Our first reading this morning is a poem that was written for the first Pride Parade in New York City, 1 year after the Stonewall Rebellion. These words come from Fran Winant, a lesbian poet and organizer who was passionately involved in the early queer liberation movement. This is her poem, Christopher Street Liberation Day, June 28, 1970. With banners and our smiles, we're being photographed by tourists, police, and leering men. We fill their cameras with 10,000 faces, bearing witness to our own existence in sunlight. From Washington, Maryland, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Ohio, Iowa, Minnesota, from Harlem and the suburbs, the universities, and the world, we are women who love women. We are men who love men. We are lesbians and homosexuals. We cannot apologizing for knowing what others refuse to know, for affirming what they deny. We might have been the women and the men who watched us and waved and made fists and gave us victory signs and stood there after we had passed thinking of all they had to lose and of how society punishes its victims, who are all of us in the end. But we are sisters and sisters, brothers and brothers, workers and lovers. We are together. We are marching past the crumbling old world that leans towards us in anguish from the pavement. Our banners and sails pulling us through the streets where we have always been as ghosts. Now we are shouting our own words. We are a community. We are a society. We are everyone. We are inside you. Remember all that you were taught to forget. We are part of the new world. Photographers, grim behind precise machines, wait to record our blood and sorrow. And revolutionaries beside them remark, love is not political. When we stand against our pain, they say we are not standing against anything. When we demand our total lives, they wonder what we are demanding. Can't you lie? Can't you lie, they whisper. They hiss like fire and grass. Can't you lie and get on with the real work? Our line winds into Central Park and doubles itself in a snake dance to the top of a hill. We cover the sheep meadow, shouting. Lifting our arms, we are marching into ourselves like a body gathering its cells, creating itself in sunlight. We turn to look back on the thousands behind us. It seems we will converge until we explode, sisters and brothers together.
Of course, I decided to get a summer cold on Pride weekend. So annoying, but thank you for your patience with my voice. Our second reading is one that has been heard from this pulpit before and likely will be again, Audre Lorde's Litany for Survival. For those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone, for those of us who cannot indulge the passing dreams of choice, who love in doorways coming and going in the hours between dawns, looking inward and outward, at once before and after, seeking a now that can breed futures, like bread in our children's mouths, so their dreams will not reflect the death of ours. For those of us who were imprinted with fear like a faint line in the center of our foreheads, learning to be afraid with our mother's milk. For by this weapon, this illusion of some safety to be found, the heavy-footed hoped to silence us. For all of us, this instant and this triumph, we were never meant to survive. And when the sun rises, we are afraid it might not remain. When the sun sets, we are afraid it might not rise in the morning. When our stomachs are full, we are afraid of indigestion. When our stomachs are empty, we are afraid we may never eat again. When we are loved, we are afraid love will vanish. When we are alone, we are afraid love will never return. And when we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard nor welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive. Let's hear our anthem.
I get asked a lot why and how I became a drag queen, so here's a cheeky little song that celebrates that. When I was younger, just a queer little kid, my mama noticed girly things that I did, like break into her makeup drawer. I put some blush on, then I put on some more. I wear her lipstick just a bright shade of red. That's when my mama said, she said, "My boy." Oh, I just messed all that up. Can we just restart that? Yeah. So what we're gonna do is when I do this, I want you to say, "What did she say?" Okay? Okay. I need the support. Here we go. When I was younger, just a queer little kid, my mama noticed girly things that I did, like break into her makeup drawer. I put some blush on, then I put on some more. I wear her lipstick just a bright shade of red. That's when my mama said, she said, "My boy, I think you're gay. Let's find a way to make your natural tendencies pay. You'll be a drag queen. You have a talent for being extreme. Son, be a drag queen. You'll get paid to make gay boys scream. You're far too fierce to be an actor, and being a boy suits you less. Son, be a drag queen. You'll be a success. Here she is, boys, the queen of stage and screen. Watch me camp it all up. Barbara, please. She's a drag queen and she'll never ever be any good, huh? Who wants to see me do a death drop right now? Oh, that hurts. I'm not dumb. Oh, screw you. I can sing. You want some kick? I am a drag queen. And I love the career that I picked. I am a drag queen. And I get off on the joy I inflict. I squeal when I feel your attention. My talk is so tight beyond comprehension. And though it may cause my body distress, I know that in heaven above me, my mama smiling on me. Oh wait, she's not dead. Drag queen, I am a success. Thank you. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Now tip.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Oh my. Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Come to all my shows.
Thank you. I know. Here, I gotta.
I'm going to start ending my sermons the same way. Speaking of which, it's hard to believe that this is the last sermon I'll deliver until October. Aww, that's very sweet of you. But it's so beautiful to be with you on this Pride Sunday. What an incredible joy, an amazing time to be together. I want to share another poem with you. Pride weekend is a good time for poetry. It can be hard to express what a movement for liberation is all about. Sermons, lectures, political statements, and interviews with leaders can leave us feeling that something's not quite being articulated in the way we need it. Poetry can be part of the solution. Poetry and art of so many kinds can be exactly what we need. We've heard poetry from decades ago already. Now, I want to share a poem from activist artist Christopher Soto, who I first met when doing sex worker organizing in New York City in 2012. We were struggling alongside queer and trans people of color who were surviving on the same streets as the Stonewall rebels were. As much as things change, so much stays the same. And so here is Soto's poem. Bought a t-shirt with Sylvia Rivera's face, spent $50 to hear heterosexuals sing at Pride, walked quickly past the unhoused, clutching my Telfar, leaving my Tesla. I'm not a capitalist, just look at my mustache, touch on these muscles while I read Judith Butler. I tell you, Pride was a riot started in New York in 1969, even though Pride was a collective in Los Angeles that protested police brutality outside the Black Cat Tavern in 1967. Too many people are worried about their irrelevance. I'm just worried how my butt looks on Instagram. I mean, ending poverty and prisons at my nonprofit. Today, I'm more of a brand than a person. As I read Soto's poem, I can hear their anger, their disappointment, their frustration, their fear. As a queer Unitarian Universalist, I often wrestle with the question of what it means to embrace this kind of vision of assimilation or this vision of liberation. But is it actually that clear of a dichotomy? Or is it more of a spectrum, like everyone's favorite Kinsey scale? Am I 1 assimilationist, a 6 liberationist? How can I even tell? I was thinking about this question as I was imagining what I would wear to church today. As you can see, I chose a clerical collar. Very few of you have ever seen me in a clerical collar before. It's incredibly uncommon for UU ministers to wear this symbol of religious authority in the pulpit. Instead, you might see our ministers in collars as they walk picket lines, block ICE agents, attend sessions of Congress, spaces where it may be strategic to highlight our religious leadership. In our congregations, it is known that we are religious leaders. And as congregationalists, we know that everyone gathered in this congregation, you all have religious authority and wisdom. Ministers may be unique in our training, but we are not unique in our access to the spirit of life and love that surrounds all of us. When I choose to wear a clerical collar, I wonder if I'm assimilating into the dominant culture understanding of what it means to be a religious leader, or am I offering a queer vision of ministerial authority? And how do I know? Does it matter what my intention is? What about the impact it has on others? This clerical collar can bring up feelings of fear for many queer and trans people. Leaders in religious movements who have worn this symbol for centuries have caused devastating harm to queer and trans people throughout history. And not only queer and trans people, but Black people, Indigenous people, women, poor people, drug users, and so many others. The symbol that I've chosen to wear for many points to generations of violence. Maybe when I put it on, I'm attaching myself to that legacy. Maybe I'm simply embodying the system I'm so desperately trying to oppose. I wonder if there are moments in your own life when you feel like you might be doing similarly. Are you working within a system to change it? Unsure if maybe you're perpetuating it? Do you wrestle with what it means to reimagine the historically unjust? Maybe though. Maybe it is possible that when I wear this collar, I'm throwing a wrench or a high heel or a broken beer bottle into the cog of what religious authority has meant. Maybe when you subvert oppressive structures that you find yourself in, you are creating that world that we imagine, the other world that we know is possible. As Unitarian Universalists, we come from a long line of heretics. It's not just my queerness that subverts the meaning of this outfit choice. This subversion includes our shared theology and the infinite love of the universe, that love that surrounds all of existence, a love that some of us call God, this love that exists without exception. It includes the theological articulation of the oneness of the divine, rejecting the separation of God, Gaia, the universe. It includes our reverence for reason and human interpretation of sacred texts. When we proclaim our Unitarian Universalism, or when our clergy wear a symbol associated with dominant Christianity, it could be, it might be, that we're pushing the borders of what is religious or what is religious authority. I can remember so very well being at a youth pride march in Boston in the late 90s and coming down Beacon Street right in front of the State House and seeing a group of clergy in their clerical collars. As a witchy, humanist, queer, Unitarian, Universalist youth, I was worried that they were there to protest our powerful display of queer and trans youth beauty. But I couldn't have been more wrong. The signs they held read, "Forgive us." God loves LGBT youth, and the church is guilty, not you. These clergy may not have been speaking for all religious leadership, and they were displaying publicly and rightly that the church has been culpable in the oppression of LGBTQ people, and clergy and all religious people who have taken part in this need to take responsibility. Clergy, as displayed by these folks, needed to side with those that the church had long alienated. It was beautiful to witness this kind of leadership. It was healing to see those I had associated with my oppression choose instead to take accountability and remember their call to embody love. On this Pride Sunday, you have chosen to find yourself at church. Unitarian Universalism, excuse me one second. We have a reputation, well earned, I believe, of being an LGBTQ affirming tradition. We're hardly perfect. We have work to do all the time. The journey is far from over. And still, our congregations often offer respite, care, spiritual healing, and transformation for queer and trans folks seeking a community. And so, what brings you here this particular morning? Why make your way through Lakeview and Boys Town during one of the largest parades of the year with so many streets blocked off? My hope is that at least part of what brings you here is the knowledge that we would not simply acknowledge Pride Sunday, but that we would celebrate queer and trans communities that have been resisting, loving, and struggling for so long. In their poem, Soto references Marsha P. Johnson, who we also heard about in our story, and this is a name that has become far more commonly known over the last decade. As you have heard, Marsha was a Black trans woman in New York City. What you might not know is that she was one of the co-founders of STAR, the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries. STAR provided housing to gender nonconforming young people in New York City. They organized needle exchanges. They provided education and safety resources for those who were considered disposable. They fought back against police harassment. And they did all of this without a 501c3. They did all of this without funding from foundations. They did this because they knew that what they were doing was going to help them survive. As Audre Lorde said, they were never meant to survive. Soto wonders how Marsha P. Johnson would react to what pride looks like today. The presence of corporations, the presence of the police, the presence of policymakers who vote down welfare rights. Did pride lose some of its power when it stopped being a march and became a parade? Did pride lose some of its fierceness when those attending started to align with the same systems that had excluded LGBTQ people for so long. Soto seems to think so. I find myself wondering, especially as I choose to wear this collar this morning. Yesterday, I had the blessing of going with members of our church to the 3rd annual Movie with the Minister, organized by Carla Tebby. We went to see the new Pixar movie, Elio. In many ways, this movie was perfect to go to on Pride weekend. The movie centered around a boy who longed to belong, but believed there was nowhere on this earth that he did belong. He struggled to make friends. He struggled to connect with his aunt, who was his primary caretaker following the death of his parents. He found himself on the beach multiple times with words in the sand around him, begging aliens to come and take him away. And to his amazement, they eventually did. Now, I don't want to give the entire story away, but he found profound and meaningful connections with the aliens he met. He began to feel powerful and confident. He may have told some little lies and may have allowed the aliens to make some assumptions about who he was as the leader of Earth. But I wonder if this is something some of us might identify with as behavior we might have engaged in at some point in our lives. I mean, who hasn't said they were the leader of Earth? We, for many of us, did not fit where we came from. And when we were not quite sure where we would fit in, and we longed to do so, the truth about us might have become a little more flexible. I know for me, my first time at a 21-plus gay bar didn't exactly happen when I was 21 years old. A little lie, a lot of community. An opportunity to connect and find out more of who I was. Elio makes a very sweet alien friend who's wrestling with his own sense of self. He doesn't want to be who his father expects him to be. Whew, I wonder how many of us identify with that. He does not want to fulfill the role that's expected of him. And he's scared to speak his truth. So scared, he hides in the closet, or more accurately, a spaceship. He cannot speak his truth until the harm of keeping it within him is greater than the harm he risks by being true to himself. I love finding queer messages in otherwise not queer specific stories, because the reality is we are everywhere. We're in every community, every institution, every piece of history, the good, the bad, the liberationist, the assimilationist, everywhere. Is it assimilationist that I choose to wear a clerical collar on Pride Sunday? Yes. Is it also liberationist that I take the same action? I also think yes. One of the things that queerness teaches us is that the strict binary is a falsehood that we've been taught. The borders of life are far more porous than that. Queer and trans people strive to assimilate into systems that have long oppressed us. Queer and trans people strive to dismantle these same systems. We are not a monolith. We do not all align on what justice looks like. And this should feel familiar for us as Unitarian Universalists. We know what it is like to be under the same umbrella while also being different from one another. Our shared values hold us together, and much of the rest is debatable or discussable. I hope you will find yourself outside our church at the lemonade stand today. People come by our church and they experience a multitude of feelings, seeing a church that celebrates queer and trans communities. I know for me, it gives me queer joy to be out there, even as I sweat profusely through this. I like knowing that we are raising our children in a religious community that does not hide from the beauty of LGBTQ communities, that does not diminish the harm religion has caused to these same communities, that does not pretend that LGBTQ people are made up of just one kind of person. We honor the leather daddies and the drag queens. We celebrate the religious queers and the survivors of conversion therapy. We know that there is much to celebrate, much to wrestle with, and annoyingly, much work still to be done. But let's do so with love, with faith, with pride, and most importantly, let's do so together. Let it be so, and amen. Please rise in body and spirit to join in singing our closing hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. Love will guide us. Love will guide us through the hard night.
As Pip extinguishes our chalice, I invite you to rest your hand upon your heart or clasp hands with those you are sharing your life with. Today is a celebration of history rooted in love for our people. We honor those who came before us, and we open up to those who are yet to come. Rise up dance, cheer, resist, know that you rest upon the shoulders of giants. Go in peace, beloveds. Happy Pride.